ground rules. And hey friends, welcome. It is your friend Lisa Mason Ziegler, and welcome to the Gardener's Workshop live shopping show. You'll find us here every Friday at 12 noon. Welcome. And today my sis Suzanne is here with me. And in today's show, we're going to be talking about seed starting tips and troubleshooting, just kind of the stuff that we hear about all the time. And y'all, look at this. I'm going to show you these later also. Look, these are way too big and they're way too early, but they are some of our demo plants, and they are so blooming beautiful. These are peppers, y'all. And they are growing in the 2-inch block. They were started in the small one, in the 3/4. How gorgeous. I can't. So their time on this earth is limited. So I just had to show them to you one more time. So today I'm going to be doing a soil blocking demonstration showing you how I use the small 3/4-inch block, and I'm going to be sowing seeds of scabiosis because that seed can come to you in 2 different ways, and we're going to look at both of those. Remember, folks, we still have some of those 2023 mystery grab bags available. Y'all, they're the bargain of a lifetime. They're like 70% off. So grab some of those just here in the app. We're going to be showing you some of our dried flowers. Of course, I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and I'm giving away another $25 store credit to one lucky viewer. All right, and we're going to be drawing that near the end of the show. And then remember, at the end of the show, we wrap it up by I'll be answering a couple of questions. And if you want to submit your question, just in the comments, type @ and Lisa, and the girls will know to grab that and put it on the list, and they'll pick a couple of those out of there. And friends, before we jump in and really get started, I would love for you to hit the share button that's down on the right-hand corner of your app, and invite your friends and let them know that we're actually live. So friends, the clock is ticking towards the arrival of my new book, the Cut Flower Handbook. Now, we do know it has been delayed because of the global shipping debacle, but it's coming. We just don't know exactly the date yet. So if you have not pre-ordered, now is the time, because during the pre-order time only, where you will immediately get the Cool Flower Zone Guide download immediately when you pre-order. Then when we ship your book to you that I'm going to sign, you'll also get an additional download of the flowers that didn't make the book. So y'all first off have overwhelmed us with how many thousands of books we have sold. We appreciate that so very, very much. But we just don't want you to miss out if you want to get in on the first printing. To order it, you have to go to our website, thegardenersworkshop.com, and it's on the top of every page, so you can't miss it there. And you also get a little sneak peek inside the book, and there's precious pictures of Tucker also. Yeah, so all right, so I cannot wait for you to possibly see if you decide that you want to purchase my Seed Starting Made Easy workshop. This used to be like a 90-minute workshop of me taking you through from the beginning to the end of seed starting, all the steps along the way, and going right out to the garden, plus direct sowing seeds out in the garden. Well, we've just added 3 additional short sessions to it. And the sessions are planting sunflowers in plug trays, how to do swift blocking, how to use the swift blocker, and most importantly, how to choose which one to use, right? So you have to go over to thegardenersworkshop.com to purchase it. And if you want to learn how to grow transplants like this is the course. It is $29.95. You have lifetime unlimited access, and it'll teach you the ground rules of seed starting so you can figure it all out. So head over to thegardenersworkshop.com after the show is over and purchase that workshop, and you'll be ready to go. So a little bit of housekeeping before we start the show. You really need to go in and double check your email and phone number if you've already set up your account, particularly those that use Apple Pay. When you check out using Apple Pay, sometimes it creates a whole new email for you based on that transaction, and it puts it on your profile. So you just need to go in and make sure that your real email address is in there, because if we need to contact you about a shipping issue or question, we have no way to get a hold of you. So please check that out. Now remember, here in the app, seed packet only orders ship for free. The shipping is on us, and we do that so, friends, as you see flowers, as our season just begins to unfold, you can order seeds whenever you meet them, right? The cap on product shipping is $9.95 here in the app, and we ship to all 50 of the United States. Now, if you're watching us on social media, we are so glad that you're here. But we just want you to know that there is a phone app that you can just head over to your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop, download it, and jump back over here, because there are so many more features. You can build a favorites list, which you'll find at the bottom of the app. You can hit favorites, and when a product comes up, if you don't want to lose track of it, you can replay previous shows. That is really useful to look back at old harvests. Like you can go back to last season and see what it looked like and when it was in bloom. And that really works. And if you want to go back and watch a specific part of something, bring the video up. When it says shop all on the bottom, hit that, and that'll bring up all the products and seeds that I talk about in that show. You can just scroll to that particular flower or product, touch it, and it jumps the video to right where I'm doing that. So that's like a great time saver. See it in real time. And then also you can comment and converse with our other viewers and with us during the show when you're in the app. So we love that. And one last thing about really housekeeping, we often sell out of items inside the show when the show is live, right? And so if you go to a product and it's not there and it says sold out, get on the wait list. Get on the wait list, because sometimes they're bringing more stock over from the website to the app. And then you'll get a little ding so you can take advantage of whether it's like a special or something like that. So don't be afraid of that wait list. So, and if you are one of our students, we absolutely love it when you post the sunflower emoji in the comments. That just is people identifying themselves as members of the TGW family. So now is the time to get on the giveaway list for the $25 store credit. Just hit that buy button. You're not buying anything, y'all. That's just putting you on the list. And sign up to get notified if we pull your name at the end of the show. And you have to be here to claim your prize, right? So, this is the time of year, and I am really doing a lot of that this year, friends, is when we're not, so I don't want to say winter because we have so much warm weather, right? But when we're in the off-harvest season, when we're not harvesting, that just allows us to have a lot of wiggle room time, and that's the time that I really feel compelled to be educated, right? And so I just want you to know that I sign all of the books that were purchased from us, and if you don't already have Cool Flowers, which is all about that family of flowers that we're talking about getting started now to get them in the ground, I would love to sign a copy of Cool Flowers, and this does come with the free video book study when you purchase it from us. So Cool Flowers is a great one. And then, of course, my book, Vegetables Love Flowers, is not about vegetables at all, y'all. This is really about a 3-season cutting garden, and it explains why having the constant presence of flowers in your vegetable patch is really beneficial to your vegetables. And you do that by doing a cutting garden. So this is really a book about that and the way that I actually garden, my methods are in here. And I would love to sign a copy for you. And it's $25.95, and would love to sign a copy. So we are going to bring you some tips today from one of our favorite family members, and because she drops in on all of our lives and is just so helpful, is Wanda, a peony grower up there in Alaska. And these are some of the tips that she shares over and over with our viewers, and we appreciate it so much. So she's in Alaska, right? So she's on a very different timeline than we are. So what are the tips? Resist the urge to plant too soon for your area. I know it's really hard for people seeing others do it. So you northern growers may see people in other regions planting and starting their seeds, and you think you're behind or late, and in fact that is not true. No matter where you are, your planting dates are always coming. You get to them the same old way, right? Counting backwards from your spring frost date, your last spring frost date. That's how you know when to get these cool flowers in the ground for that, what I call very early spring planting. And I think Wanda really hears from locals about this. So it's something that really is meaningful to her, and we just appreciate that so much. So if you don't know what your last spring frost is, just enter your zip code into the search engine with last frost date, and you'll get lots of choices with that. So now we are going to do a little bit of soil blocking. I'm going to show you how I actually make them. Suzanne's going to take the camera down, and I am going to make some blocks, and I'm going to share some tips. And I tell you what I posted this morning on social media is about how in 8 square feet I can start and support like 4,000 seedlings, and it is because of the small blocker, right? And that's the one that I use most of the time. So this is the small blocker. This is a tool that we actually import from England. I've been soil blocking for over 25 years, and I learned how to make the small blocker work for me as much as possible because it is so space savvy, right? So this is the blocking mix. You can always find the recipe on our website, and it's really wet. We actually tell you how much water to mix to your dry mix, right? And this is a potato masher, which is what I find to be the best tool. And I just make a little pile, and I drive the blocker down in the pile a couple of times just to make sure that all the chambers are nice and full. And then I use the side of the potato masher to also just strike off any excess. Now I use flat bottom trays that have no ridges and have no drainage holes. And so I'm going to just place the tool on that tray, and I'm going to pull up and push the plunger down kind of at the same time. And that is what you get. And it's that quick and easy, y'all. So let me just make another one. So if you have trouble getting the blocks to come out of the blocker, that usually means the blocking mix is too dry. And I highly recommend that you follow the measurements that are on the recipe, because it gives you, you might have to add a little bit more water, but it really gets you close to that good consistency that we're looking for.
What ingredients are in the recipe?
So the recipe is, wait a minute, let me do this. Y'all, I can't do so many things at one time anymore. No, it's all right. So
rock phosphate powder and green sand
with compost and peat moss that's sifted. And so you can see I'm going to add one more set of blocks. This is 60 blocks on this tray is approximately like 5.5 inches by 11. So you can start and grow 60 plants in this small space. Let's make one more. And this is really a quick and efficient way to make your little compact, I was just going to say lunch boxes, little compact containers for each one of your little seeds, y'all. I mean, so these seedlings will never get put in a container. They grow in these blocks until they go out to the garden. All right, so this is the last one I'm making. So there you go. That is 60 3/4-inch blocks, and they're going to take that away for us. And so now I am going to sow some scabious seeds. So here's the challenge that people often reach out to us about. So some scabious seeds will come and they look like that. They look exactly like a little badminton. I don't even know. What do you call that badminton? The thing that you... I don't know what it's called, but if y'all can see that, that's exactly what it looks like. And inside that little cage, if I can pick it up, there, the seed is in there, okay? So that's one way that scabiosis can come to you, right? The other varieties can sometimes come and they're cleaned. There's that little seed, they come like that. So you don't ever know which way you're going to get until you get them, right? So both of them are scabiosis, so don't be alarmed by that. And scabiosis seeds likes to be covered, which means they need darkness to sow. So I am going to sow some of these. And so we use this little aluminum seed pan because it has no static electricity. And y'all, instead of me looking through the camera, I'm now down here with it, and I can just go so much quicker. So I am just poking the seed in and pushing it down into the block instead of, the ones that need light, like, with snapdragons and celosia and all that kind of stuff. They need light to germinate. So you just firmly seat them on the surface. For these, I'm just pushing them deeper into the block. And that's how you do when you have the little raw seed. And see, you can't really see those. So that is covering it. So that's the one type of scabby. Now, where the questions really come is when we're sowing these others that...
and shuttlecock is what the little ball for badminton is called.
That's interesting. So here's a bunch of little badminton.
Or a birdie.
Birdie, that's the words I was looking for. That's what it is. So this looks like the birdie. And so the way that I plant these is I just pick them up and I point the pointy end down just like I'm planting a zinnia, or you have to move this hand here in my way.
What's new?
This is what happens, y'all, when you work with your baby sister. So you're still going to see the tail just like on zinnias and marigolds. The tip is what needs to be in the block. And it goes fairly quickly and easily. And that is how I start scabiosis, right? So hopefully that will... answer your questions for that. And so today, the deal of the day is, let me move this out. Let's just set this guy up here. The deal of the day is the Soil Block Maker kit. So what that means, what's included with that is the small blocker that you just saw me use. And it does come with seeds, but we'll look at that in a minute. This kit includes my Seed Starting Made Easy course, and that includes those 3 new sessions that we just added to that. So it's now like an hour and 20 minutes broken up into a bunch of sessions. So that's included. This includes the nutrient mix, which is the green sand and the rock phosphate that you add to your sifted peat moss or cocoa fiber, and compost. And it includes our toothpick holder, which has 10 toothpicks. It has the seed pan, the plant markers, 5 of those trays, even though this is 4. Every week I meant to say that. So there's really 5 in this, y'all. I think I must have used one. So it includes the tray, the pan, the plant markers, the toothpicks, the nutrient mix, the blocker, the Seed Starting Made Easy course, and it includes your choice of either 3 packs of Cool Season seeds. All 3 of these can be started immediately to go in the ground for very early spring, or you can choose Warm Season seeds, which are our Benary's Giants, the Coxcomb Mix, and the Basil Mix. All of these seeds are our best sellers. They're customer favorites, y'all. So this kit is 20% off until Sunday morning at 8 a.m. It's regularly $78.95 on sale, y'all, for $63.16. The course itself is like $30, y'all. What a savings that is. All of these items are available separately throughout the app, but that is the deal of the day.
Morgan said that the kit was a game changer.
Oh, I mean,
So could you hear that? Morgan, one of our customers, said the kit was a
game
changer
changer.
for her. Can't see.
All right, y'all. So here is, this is the small blocker. And you can purchase this individually. And so this is $38.95, and it makes 20 of those 3/4 inch blockers. Now you can also order separately the 2-inch blocker. And when do I use this? This is what I start: sweet peas, zucchini, squash. You would start sunflowers in these. I bump up peppers, tomatoes, eucalyptus, and this makes 4 of those 2-inch blocks that I don't use it as frequent, but when I need it, I need it. And this is $44.95. Now, the inserts that you put in the 2-inch blocker to make a hole for the 3/4 inch is on the wait list right now. And as soon as we get our shipment from England, y'all will be the first to know about that. And they are $9.95, and they make it possible to be able to pot up from one to the other. Now, this is the sieve.
You see it?
Yeah, not really. I was just going to say, can we go up now?
We could.
Yep, we're going to go up, y'all. Because we like being able to see. I feel like I can see you and you can see me, right? So this is the sifter. This is what revolutionized our life and all of our customers that have since purchased it in making your own blocking mix. Any seed starting mix, y'all, should be sifted. There are so many chunks and stuff in the ingredients that's in seed starting mix. So this fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket. And I typically do all my sifting during the winter. Do it outside on a nice day like today. Just stand there and I use a big, like a 6, 10, 50-gallon, it depends on what size your operation is, trash can, and just do a whole thing of peat moss or cocoa fiber. Do a whole bag of compost so you have your ingredients ready to roll. This is $19.95, and this is going to be one of your favorite new tools. So we also offer the nutrient mix. This again, see, this is powder. You can't use any granules. Again, we're talking about making seed starting mix. You want really refined products. So this is 50% peat moss, 50% peat moss, green sand and rock phosphate, y'all, sorry. And it has the recipe right on the front of the bag, and this bag will make approximately 6 recipes with your cocoa fiber or peat moss and compost, and a recipe makes about 500 to 600 of those small blocks. So this little bag can hook you up with 3,000 small blocks when you actually make the recipe. Now, we use these reusable foam trays. You really want to use the best fit tray, the best size tray to fit the number of blocks that you're actually starting. This is what we call the small. It's a 5-pack for $2.95, and we reuse these year after year after year. It is available in a 25-pack for $12.95, and then this is the one you just saw me use in the kit that comes in the kit. This holds 3 clusters of 20, and this is 5-pack for $3.95 or a 25-pack for $15.95. Now, due to customer suggestions and demands, we actually made a little kit, y'all, of the seed pan and our toothpicks. and the toothpick holder. This is $2.95, and it's just one of those tools that it will make your life so much easier when you're actually doing seed starting. Friends, this is I thought you were going to do the products.
Well, you can continue seed starting and I'll take
Okay, so I just realized I'm just kind of steamrolling right through here, y'all. This is the favorite outdoor garden marker. This holds up to UV rays and moisture. It's the one that I use. It has a fine point, and it is $6.95, and you cannot have enough of these. We have probably 5 or 6 around circulating on this farm all the time, and they really hold up for more than a season. Now, something that is incredibly essential to seed starting is a seedling heat mat, y'all. This has a built-in thermostat, and what that means is that this mat, when it's plugged in, will heat this mat up 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the air temperature, which is exactly what most seeds want. They want about a 75 to 85 degree soil. And if your air temperature is 70 degrees in your home, that means the soil is 55 degrees unless you put it on a heat mat. Heat mat is $38.95, and if you need a bigger commercial size, you have to head over to our website, thegardenersworkshop.com, where you can actually find that.
Put the styrofoam trays right on the mat itself?
Yes, you can put the trays. Good question. Somebody asked, can the styrofoam trays go right on the mat? And yes, they can. So this is the wide weave burlap that I use in place of domes and plastic. I use this because air can go through it, air circulation, but yet it still retains moisture. This comes in a 36-inch square approximately piece, and you can get a single piece for $3.95, or you can get a 3-pack of these for $9.95, particularly for those surface sown products. Seeds really benefit from that.
And the heat mat, someone asked, does it have a controller?
So this particular heat mat has a built-in thermostat, and it's controlled based on the air temperature. But what a great question. All right, here is the fertilizer that I put in my watering can on Mondays. This is the Neptune seaweed fish. I follow the house plant recommendations on here. And anybody that's under the grow light or out on the carport gets a weekly dose of this. It's kind of stinky, but it grows incredible transplants, as you can see, right? All right, y'all, this is the fertilizer that we use here on the farm, that we add on in our beds at every flip or prep. And it is organic based. It's made out of processed chicken litter. And it is 543, and it's dried and pelleted, so it's really easy to apply. And for 100 square foot, which is like a 10 by 10 garden, right? You use approximately 7.5 cups, which is about 3 pounds. So this is a 4-pound bag for $14.95 plus the shipping of $9.95. All right, so y'all, this is the time of the year when I am really relishing and being grateful that I used Bio 360 on my cool flower beds. We use it year round, but this time of the year when the cool season weeds seem to be outgrowing my cool season plants, this stuff is really priceless. So this is Bio 360. It's the biodegradable film. Super easy to poke a hole through. Number one question I get asked, this is nothing like landscape fabric, y'all. And so this comes in a 48-inch wide by 50-foot long piece. You apply it to your bed, and there are videos on our website on the product page if you actually want to see how we lay it by hand. It comes black on one side and either white or gray on the other side. And it's just light side and a dark side. This time of the year, when we're making beds to plant, we put the black side up so that it kind of assists and helps to warm the soil more. But once spring gets here and the afternoons start to get hot here in the south, we make our beds for those plantings with the light side up. That cools the surface temperature by about 15 to 20 degrees. So you can buy this in individual pieces or in a 6-pack. It's $26.95 or $134.95. It comes to you in a package. It's super easy to lay, and it's probably one of the biggest reasons we were able to scale our farm because of the labor savings. And we applied it by hand for years, y'all, although I do have a tractor to put it down now. So row cover, this is the row cover weight that I use. This is the lightweight row cover that allows the maximum amount of air, water, and light to penetrate it. Because I like to leave them up all winter to keep varmints from grazing on my plants, I want the maximum amount of light to get through. That's why I use the lightweight. So this gives about 4 degrees of cold protection, but I don't really use it for that. I use it to protect from wind and varmints. And so this comes in a 6.5 by 50 foot piece. It's $26.95. And if you need larger pieces or hoops and weight bags, you can find those over at thegardenersworkshop.com. I would not be farming without row cover. I mean, it's just like an insurance policy, y'all. It makes all the difference in the world. So lightweight row cover is just, it's your peace of mind, I guess, is what it does for me. And so this is those weight bags I just mentioned. We fill this with either gravel, sand, or soil, whatever it is that you have on hand. We aim for about 15 pounds per bag. They come in a 10 pack for $10.95, a 25 pack for $24.95, or you can get 50 of them for $40. And it's just a big game changer when you're trying to keep row covers down without damaging and ripping them. And here comes my sis.
Okay, we can see she's feeling better. She's back to her old self. So now we're going to show you a couple of our favorite products, and we have a couple of new things to show you, very excited about. First up is our gloves. These are the Nitrile Touch gloves. They're a lightweight glove. They fit like a second skin, and they have this nitrile coating on them that lets you pick up anything you want. It's very sticky, so you can pick up little seeds. You'll leave them on, forget you have them on. We work in these at the farm and in my garden at home all the time. So these are the Nitrile Touch. They're a perfect gift. The one is $7.95, or you can get a 4-pack for $24.95. I always like to have extras on hand because I've heard multiple stories from people that their dog came along and grabbed one of their gloves and took off with it. So keep an extra pack on standby and give them as a gift. Everybody loves these. Now we have the Tough glove, which is made the same way. And I didn't mention I have large hands for a woman, and I wear a size medium because these are unisex. But the Tough have the double coating of the nitrile on the palms, and they were great for moving wood or concrete, anything heavy duty, or if it's a little cooler outside, I like to wear these. They fit just like the Touch, and like I said, I have a large woman hand. I wear a medium. This also comes from small up to extra large, so if you have a big burly husband who has big hands, these would be perfect for him in an extra large. Same prices, $7.95 for one. You can get a 4-pack for $24.95 and make a great gift, and always good to have on hand. Next up, we have our Gauntlet Rose gloves. These were made specifically for tackling varmints like roses that have the big old thorns on them, or any poison ivy. These are machine washable, so you can just throw them in the machine and wash them after you've been messing with the poison ivy and hang them to dry. Again, this is a medium. They're unisex. They come from size small up to extra large, and they just do a great job of protecting you from any brambles or anything poisonous, an occasional real varmint as well if necessary. But the Gauntlet gloves are $37.95, and once you have them, you will wonder what you did without them. They're great. Now we have a couple of new products. They're new to the app, but we actually have sold these products when we did shows for years, and they were always favorites of our customers. First, we have the Rose Stripper, and even though it's called a rose stripper, we find that they're great for stripping hydrangeas. What else did you say, Lisa?
Sunflowers.
Sunflowers. You could strip sunflowers, but you just put your stem in, close it, and pull it down, and it takes all of the leaves and thorns or anything else off of. The stripper is $19.95, and again, this was always a customer favorite when we had them at shows. Next up, we have Slug X. Anyone having slug problems, the way we treat for that organically is by taking them out for a nice drink. So Slug X is this wonderful little compartment. It has a top on it. You simply take the top off. It has all these little areas, and we fill it with beer. Slugs are attracted to the yeast in the beer. They come in, they drink, they fall in, and next thing you know, you have pickled slugs. Now, the important thing about this one, it's so big and it has a flat top, you can put a cinder block on top of it or a brick, because guess who else likes pickled slugs? Our golden retriever. So this will keep dogs and other varmints out. I would often find my little ones would have been turned over by a raccoon or a possum or something. So this actually has the flat surface that you can put something heavy on it to keep them from getting into it. And Cornell did a study, and apparently the preferred taste of the slugs is Pabst Blue Ribbon. So we appreciate the slugs have chosen one of the cheaper, beers to like, but the yeast in that attracts them, and it really takes care of them, and you just have to check it regularly and dump it out and refill the beer. So we really, really love that. We just want to remind everyone about the $25 giveaway. Hit the Buy Now button to get on the list, and we will draw the random winner from the app later in the show. All right, next up we're getting ready to show our dried flowers, and I'm going to switch this back to Lisa in just a second. She's more knowledgeable about most of those. But we want to remind you that storage of the flower seeds is what's going to give you the most longevity for them. These are the desiccants like you get in your purses or medicines, but this is a nice big one that you can throw into that seed storage and keep the moisture out and make your seeds last longer. The 2-pack is $2.95, 10-pack is $9.95, and when you buy seeds from us, you get the same seeds that we're growing here on the farm, and they can last longer than the date on the package if you store them correctly. Now we're going to switch it over to Lisa, who's going to show us some more good stuff.
Hey friends, so Suzanne is right. We grow our flowers here on the farm from the same seeds that you're purchasing from the warehouse. Literally, Bobo and I make our list of what we're going to start, send it up to the warehouse, and they pull seed packets right off the shelf, the same ones that you're coming from. So we love doing that so that we can know and have the same experience that you guys are actually doing. So check that out. And I just want to remind you too that the grab bags are still available. We have the veggies, and there's warm season, and those are just while supplies last because they're just an amazing. All right, so let's look at some of the scabioses that I just sowed these, and y'all, I just love flowers. And while I'm going to show you the dried ones, there is nothing like the fresh. This is Fata Morgan, and this is buttercream, y'all. That is the color of this one. Totally love the pincushion Fata Morgan, pincushion scabiosis, whatever you call it. And then here's one that we could never, you could never have enough of these in a bouquet. This is the blue cockadee. Blue is just just makes all the other colors really, really pop, right? So this is the pincushion blue cockadee. And now so to be able to grow all the colors, I just take however much space I was going to give to pincushion. When we were in high production, we'd have 200-foot beds of pincushion flowers, y'all. And then I would just break that up into how many feet I could give to each color. And then here's white. Can y'all see that the white is actually green before it turns white? That's the way that I cut it, is when it's really green in the center like you see here. I think that most people cut too late on most flowers, but really on this one. And look at the Black Knight. Black Knight is one that I would not grow as much as I would of the blue, for instance. Black is a really dramatic pop, but you don't want a lot. And that's not a hot color in the spring, right? But you would love to have some of those. And look at the little buttons. That's just really pretty fabulous. And then because red, orange is my favorite color and red is a runner-up. This Fire King is really, really pretty. Having this from 4th of July, y'all, you could sell every pop that you've got, right? And then this is a different variety of scabiosis. This is the ping pong, and I have some dried to show you, but this is what we're growing it for. It gets the same kind of looking flower, but it's a real muted color. Leave it alone, don't cut it, because this is what it actually is gonna develop into. Let me find a really great, here's one. Is this ball right here. That's the seed pod. I mean, we see these in faux flowers all over the store, so this is a really, really popular one. Then, y'all, this is safflower or carthamus, and the variety is Zanzibar. And we grew this years ago, and then I brought it back a couple of years ago. I love this from before it blooms, during bloom, and then now look at it dried. I mean, it is a super sturdy dried flower. And this is really useful for wreath making. And all of these are cool flowers, by the way. And I did see there was a question on the app when I was waiting my turn here. Somebody asked, did they see somewhere that you shave off some of the growing time for seedlings when you start with soil blocking? And that is exactly right. As a general rule, soil blocks do grow quicker, and we shave about 1/3 of the time off. This, my friends, is lambada. So it's kind of muted when it's dry, but look at it fresh. And we have this seed now in stock after being without it for 2 years. This is a Monarda, very different than any of the other bee balms. We grow it as a hardy annual, and you will absolutely love it. So this is, feverfew is a huge crop for us. This single daisy type is the one that I love the most because it's kind of the most casual, right? And look at it dried. And the difference in these two colors, these are the same flower. They're just harvested at different stages and dried. But look at that. It looks like a little tiny daisy. So feverfew, especially if you are making bouquets, priceless. And this is Vegmo single. Those were just born this week. And this is 40 of those small soil blocks in like a 5x8 tray. The space savviness, much less the health of the transplants, is pretty amazing for soil blocking. And so this is the first feverfew I ever grew. This is Tetra White, and it's like a solid white with a little yellow center that's not as defined as that daisy. But here it is dried. It kind of goes ivory, which is such a hot color, right? This is really popular in wedding work. And this is one, oh my gosh, I got to show you the babies first. If anybody else loves billy balls as much as I do, which is Craspedia, this is a tray of 100 billy ball babies. Look at that. They were just started on the 17th. What is today?
26.
Okay, so they're 9 days old. And so that is the small blocker. And if you love this tray, you'll find these trays over at thegardenersworkshop.com. So this is Billy dried. I mean, they hold their color absolutely beautifully. Deer bait, you have to really be careful and protect from the deer. And this is one that you get on the wait list to get notified as soon as it comes in stock, y'all. This is cress, which is, you don't grow this for the blooms, y'all. It's the seed heads that come after the blooms. But this is a really neat dried flower, and the seed heads are pretty beautiful when they're actually used fresh also. And so we love Status. We use a lot of Status in fresh bouquets, but you know that Status also dries beautifully. These have probably been dried for a year, y'all, and look at them. they're still just really, really great. If you're doing, again, a bouquet program, you can't have enough status to pop up your flowers. So this is, you know, I grow probably 8 or 9 different Rudbeckias, but this one, Goldilocks, which is the first one to bloom for us every season, we fall plant it, but I plant it again in very early spring. Totally love her. She's a double, just a really vigorous little plant. And I have several dried Rudbeckias here. This is Goldilocks, the gold one. This is Sahara down here. She's darker. But Rudbeckia will dry, and if you're looking for that pop of color and wreath work and that type of thing, it really does well. And look at this tray of Rudbeckia. Again, these were started on the 10th. Rudbeckias are super slow growers, so these are 16 days old. And they're really slow growers, and so these guys will get planted out, and I think there's like 3 or 4 other Rudbeckias going in the grow room, plus we planted 9 of them last fall, right? That's how we succession plant, right? So friends, straw flowers are the unsung heroes of summer gardens, if you ask me. Straw flowers are oftentimes overlooked. You know, these have been dry again for a year. This is the king size mix. You can see there's just all different colors here. And there, you hear that? They're really papery. I mean, they're like bloom dried, right? These are actually brackets, not blooms at all, but that's what we call them. But look at these. They're super beautiful. We love using them fresh in the summer in our midsummer bouquets when sometimes zinnias are suffering a little disease issue. Straw flowers will rescue you. And then, of course, this is the peach mix. Straw flower. Peach is the color of the year, right? That's peach, and here it is dried, and you can see the variation in the different colors. And so we have tons of straw flowers started for the summer. And we do succession plant straw flowers. We'll plant them in very early spring and then at about 4-week intervals for about 2 more times. Now, remember to stick around for my Q&A that's going to happen in just a few minutes here. And if you want to ask a question, just put @Lisa in the comment and type your question in, and the girls will pick those up. Remember that over at thegardenersworkshop.com, we have tons of free resources, videos, blogs, podcasts. We actually have 2 podcasts, Field and Garden, as well as Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane, which is so popular with everybody. And remember that the Gardener's Workshop hosts Ask a Flower Farmer on Wednesdays on Instagram at 12:30 Eastern Time. And we have different hosts. In about 30 minutes of your host, you can submit your questions live, and they'll do their best to answer your questions. Now, remember that next Friday is our Valentine's show. So we'll be highlighting some of those great gifty ideas for you to get for your sweetheart, especially for the flower lovers. And so now we are going to, we have a winner of our $25 giveaway, y'all, and I hope you're here, and I hope I say your name right. It's Karen, and your last name is Skalla. Karen Scala? Sorry, y'all. Sorry, Karen. I hope you're here, but I'm sorry if I butchered your name, which I'm pretty sure I just did. Karen, you have won the $25 store credit. And so give us a big shout out here in the comments if you're here, and then Kelly will add that $25 credit to your cart, and it'll be ready and waiting for you when you go to check out. So let's hit these Q&As, y'all. So let's take a couple of questions here. Zone 9B, my straw flowers are still alive from last year. Will they still produce like their first year? So that's a really hard question to answer. First off, you're in 9B, so that's a really different growing environment, right? I mean, there's really only one way to find out, and that is to wait and see what they do. You know, you definitely need to feed them a little bit with the regular fertilizer, whether it's the liquid or scratching some dry into the soil. You know, give them a cutback so that they'll produce more stems. But remember that annuals are called annuals because they typically only live for 1 year, right? Even cool season and warm season, their year starts and ends at different times, but their intention is that they grow up and bloom for a season and then they kind of just dissipate, right? So let us know how that goes for you, but it just really depends on their health and how they're cared for and what their environment is. Do you start saponaria in mini blocks? If so, do you put on cookie rack or on the concrete floor? We actually direct sow saponaria out in the garden in the fall. So if I was going to try to plant it in the spring and I don't have, I mean, if you happen to be somewhere where you get this run of 2 weeks of spring-like weather like we're living with right now, you could try direct sowing outside. But if you have cold weather still, they're not going to sprout on time. You can try sprouting them indoors, and I would definitely do it in a cooler environment. Then, I mean, they would probably do well on the cookie cooling rack for 24 to 48 hours just to warm them up to let them know they're supposed to sprout. But don't overheat them. Definitely follow the Cool Season Hardy annual seed sprouting tips for that. I know it's recommended to direct seed Atriplex. However, my beds are not ready yet. Could I start the seeds indoors, or do you not recommend that? It's kind of the same thing with Atriplex as with saponaria. Many of these seeds that just really seem to do better being sown outdoors, particularly in the fall, is because they need that variation of temperature to get them to break dormancy, to sprout. And Atriplex falls into that also. And somebody, if you can, there's a Seed Talk that actually has tips with Joe Lample. Can somebody look up and see which Seed Talk number that is that Joe and I were together? I'll give you the episode number in a minute. He shared with us how to prime spinach. Atriplex is in the spinach family. And we'll give you those tips in a minute, but priming the seed will really help to actually do that. I'm having trouble germinating Cherokee Sunset Rudbeckia. I have tried seed from 5 different merchants. I have had success with other varieties, Sahara, Triloba, Maya, Prairie Sun. My most recent attempt yielded 2 out of 48. Any suggestions? I feel your pain, is what I feel. We also, I mean, Cherokee Sunset, you know, by the nature of looking at it, there's multiple different varieties or lines in there. And I find the same thing. Last year, we had a gangbuster germination. This year, I didn't start it again this spring. I don't remember what happened this fall, but it's definitely because many retailers like me, a lot of times our seeds all coming from the same place or from the same grower, especially when it's stuff that's not widely grown. So no, I don't have any words of wisdom except to say that if you get a good year, you know, be happy for that. But I suffer from that same problem. All my other Rudbeckias do really well.
Was it vegetables? Must-grow vegetables?
Yeah, probably. Which one?
Number 30.
So Seed Talk episode number 30 with Joe Lample. Somewhere in there, it seems to me it was like at the 40-minute mark. It was further down. We talked about he gave us the priming steps, which I have done, and it revolutionized my Atriplex germination. All right, y'all, let's take one more question here. How do you care for the soil blocker to prevent rust? Well, that's a really great question. So basically, I've never had a soil blocker rust, really. But you never leave it sitting in the wet soil. Typically, we set it up on the edge of the tub, and that just allows it to dry out. But other than that, we really have not done anything about that. And I will answer this one additional questions, because I get this question. I've seen this question come across several times that I haven't answered. How do you get the stems of your flowers so thick? Pinching. No, not from pinching. It is the growing environment that we give our plants. And that starts from the day we germinate our seeds. Jenny Love and I was on No-Till Flowers. Well, there's a recent one that just came out a couple weeks ago. But last year, she and I talked about seed starting. And we are in agreement that the first 5 days life of a seedling really sets the pace of that transplant's life. And because we just provide such a healthy environment with soil blocking, we feel like that has a big part of it. Then we plant them at the right time, in the right place, into the right soil. And we don't do a lot of cuddling. We don't irrigate like people think that we do here, because when you give them all those previous things I just mentioned, they grow super healthy. Full sun, and literally it's that simple. And so that's all that I can actually offer to you. So friends, thank you so much for joining us here today. Remember to join me next Friday for our Valentine's Day show. And until we meet again, ciao.